This is a part of the series we started early in July. This is the second session we are actually organizing in this topic. So the first session covered the first exercises under Build Your Own Agent with Microsoft 365 Agents SDK and Semantic Kernel. It's all available in Copilot Developer Camp, and it's actually a new set of labs. So that's why we are doing this series and completing all the exercises together with you live. So before we jump into the topic today, I want to highlight that Copilot Developer Camp is a set of videos, hands-on labs built for anyone who is interested in building, extending Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you can find any type of agent in Copilot Developer Camp, and you can choose your own pathway to get started building your own agent for Microsoft 365 Copilot. And we have a huge map for you in the beginning of Copilot Developer Camp for you to understand and exercise what are the requirements you have and which one is more suitable for you, so you can basically decide which pathway to go for. In today's session, we will particularly follow the coder, build, and the channel is for custom engine agent. We are actually using the BMA labs in this session particularly. So BMA labs include Microsoft 365 Agents SDK. Just quickly, just to remind you what it is, and if you catch up with the first session of this series, you will see we also talked about it a little bit, but today we will actually use it. So you will see hands-on why we actually need Agents SDK at all. But Agents SDK is the way for you to build your custom agent for Microsoft 365 Copilot, but not just that. You can also publish the same agent in Teams, in different channels that is provided by the SDK. And the good thing about the Agents SDK is you can bring any model of your choice. It can be Azure or external model you prefer, or and also on top of that, you can build your own orchestration layer. That means that you can actually add Semantic Kernel or any other orchestration framework you like to use, and you can design the entire thing customly. That's why we actually call the agent custom engine agent, because you're building everything from scratch and you're designing enterprise-ready architecture. Having said that, it's not as complex as it sounds, and we will have a look how you can actually get started building one of those. Quickly, a recap before we jump into the demo. We are basically building an agent that can communicate with multiple channels, including Teams, Copilot, custom web, email, and multiple other channels like Meta, and all of those available for you already. You can publish the single agent in multiple places. And the way to build this is actually bringing your orchestration, bringing your own model. And this can be any orchestration like Semantic Kernel, LangChain, as I mentioned. It can be any model. It connects with AI Foundry very well. And you can bring other services from Azure AI as well. And at the same time, you can actually connect with Copilot Studio too. So if you built an agent or if you built a plugin in Copilot Studio, you can also bring that into Agents SDK agents too. So quickly, let's get started actually integrating our Azure AI Foundry agent into Copilot Chat using M365 Agents SDK. Okay, let me go to my Windows, and quickly I will show you what we're going to do today. So the purpose of today is, first of all, if you're interested in seeing the step one, we already have a video available in the community YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check that out. And I highly recommend you to have a look at that if you didn't see that already. The first exercise is actually for preparing your agent in Azure AI Foundry. Azure AI Foundry has a really great place, which is called Agents Playground. This is a really great place for you to design your own agent. You can build custom instructions, which we did. You can also bring any data you want, and that's what we did as well. We actually integrated with some documentation and also we use the local vector store for that. And I can quickly show you what we did actually previously. So this is Azure AI Foundry, and we built our own agent here. We had the custom instructions, and we also added the vector store. We have 6 files inside, and this is basically the agent that can help me with anything related to Contoso HR related queries like performance review, healthcare, wellness, employee rights, etc. So if I ask, like, tell me, I'm not able to type. Tell me about my perks, then this is supposed to reply back to me with all the details. So today's purpose is basically bringing this experience into any channel we want. We will test today's experience in Microsoft Teams because we can actually test the same agent in multi-channel. And in the following, the third community call in the series, we will actually show you how you can bring this into Copilot Chat. Okay, let's get started. So that means we actually have the agent working in the Foundry, how we can bring this into ProCode. So we're going to use Visual Studio for that. And if you're interested in following by the exercise, you can just go to BMA 2, and we will complete 2 and 3 today, hopefully. And I will go ahead very quickly to Visual Studio for that. So we will create a new project. And in the new project template selection, you have to search for Microsoft 365 agents. And you can type here, but I already have it available because that's all I use. I will just say HR agent. But the recommended name is Contos HR agent. I already have that, so I'm not typing that all long. And today we are going to build EchoBot. That means we will only have a really simple traditional EchoBot structure where it does nothing but echoes what we type. So that means we actually have a bot folder right here, and we have EchoBot CS. It's a very traditional bot. If you work with bot framework already, you will know that it has. So first of all, we have conversation update, and we have on activity on message async. The first one basically sends us the welcome message if user is new, member is added. And the second one basically does whatever we want. This one does turn context, send activity async, and it directly returns whatever I text. So let's go and test this one. First, so if you hit start from scratch, if you build something right away using Agents Toolkit and hit start, that's going to bring you the Agents Playground. So this is M365 Agents Playground, and this is basically replicating the entire experience in Microsoft Teams, but you don't have to log in or do all the complex authentication stuff. So as you can see, agent welcomes us, and when I say hello, then it basically repeats what I say. That means that this agent doesn't even have AI or orchestration. It doesn't have any setup in the background. Okay, so today our purpose is to integrate this agent with all things semantic kernel, all things AI, etc. But before I do that, I want to showcase where is the Agents SDK. So Agents SDK is right here, Agents Builder. And if you can extend the dependencies under HR agent packages, so agents.hosting.asp.NET Core is actually our Agents SDK. That means the foundational messaging in between agents to any channel is actually the Agents SDK's responsibility. Okay, let's go ahead and start adding some AI bits, which are the more exciting things. First, I will add a semantic kernel so that I can start basically going into complex integration. What I will search for is right here because I searched this before. Make sure you click in include pre-release. We will select Semantic Kernel Agents Azure AI and install the pre-release package. This will bring us all things AI, and it will help me connect with my agent in the Azure AI Foundry. I've already built my agent. I just want to have this experience in the channels I want. Okay, we already have the NuGet package. The next thing we will do is go to program.cs and basically initiate our semantic kernel. We should do that right before we build the app so that semantic kernel will be in it. Okay, let me paste it here. Oh, the complexity of Windows and Mac is actually pretty harsh. Let me try this. Paste. No. One more minute. Sorry about that. I guess I will type this one real quick. So this is actually add kernel, and we are good. Okay, up. Okay, so we added semantic kernel right before build, and the next thing we will do is basically we'll add a bunch of classes in our agent so that we can handle the files, conversations, etc. So the first thing I will add is a class called file reference, and this is going to help me with citations. And I really need to add this here. Let me try again. Hopefully this time it works. No. Okay, I'm having a keyboard issue. Apologies for that. Okay, then you're gonna have to either type this, or I will actually show you the previous app I had, because if I type it, it will take real long. I think it's best if I just show you how you can achieve this. Okay, the next thing we do is basically adding the file in our agent. File reference. This is only for our citation. We have file ID, name, code, citation. As I mentioned, the agent we built in the Foundry side has 6 documents. So if we reference any of them, we should be able to do the proper citation. The second thing we add in the agent is actually conversation state extensions. This is pretty important because the conversation state also has the thread ID, and the thread ID is necessary for us to connect with our agent in the Foundry. It's in the really base of the agent. If you go to the Foundry, you will actually see that each conversation is kept as a thread, and we have the thread ID. To be able to communicate with the user, we should create a new thread ID every time. And the following, the classes, we actually, after you add the classes, the next thing is to only update the EchoBot. And there is not much to update here other than connecting with our existing agent. We first get the project client. We create the project client using the persistent agent client. And the second thing we do is actually to get the agent ID, which is necessary for our client, we create these private properties. So these are already available in EchoBot. The first thing is a conversation update. The second thing on activity. But what we actually add here is 2 things. The first one is the project endpoint, which is available in Azure AI Foundry. If you go to overview, you should be able to see the Foundry project endpoint. This is the endpoint we actually need in our source code. And the second thing we need is the agent ID. And agent ID can be found under your agent. If you go find out your agent, this is actually the agent ID you should copy in your project too. And here, in terms of the client, we are actually using Azure CLI credential. I already started that. So I already did AZD login, AZ login Azure to be able to connect my Azure resources. And the next thing is we keep the welcome message as it is. We only update on message async here. And what we do here, instead of just sending any message we want, we start the streaming. We get the agent definition using the agent ID in the Foundry, and then we bring our agent here using the Azure AI agent. So that means any message user sends goes to AI Foundry agent, and basically we retrieve all the responses from the AI Foundry agent. And next, what we do is actually, just like what I said, following the thread ID, we are creating the conversation, and any message we create as a user, any message we send in the chat directly goes into the AI Foundry agent using chat message context. Chat message content. So that means that now we can actually build any type of agent we want in the Foundry and bring it over using this simple code. So to be able to run this experience, what you need is actually two things. These two things we mentioned here are required. The first one is project endpoint, and the second one is the agent ID. And this is what I added in the app settings JSON. If you go here, AI services, I have ID, project endpoint. That means my project is now ready to connect with my agent already. So in terms of the setup, we already started AZ login, which is necessary to be able to connect with my agent. And the following thing you should do is actually create a dev tunnel here, and you can go start dev tunnels and create a dev tunnel. I already have tunnel created for me. It's pretty straightforward. And here, instead of the playground, you should select Teams so you can actually experience the agent experience directly on Teams. If you hit start, and before you do hit start, you should actually right click Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit and make sure you select the right account here so that our agent is getting created in the same tenant that we want to test. This is checking the permissions, and when I hit continue, it should be there right away. I will hit start, and this agent should get started on Teams. So there are a couple of tips and tricks for you to test this agent on Teams. For example, if the browser opens, but if you see the Teams in a different account, I have multiple test environments, so I'm sometimes struggling to log in with the same account, the account I want. You can basically open the browser and log into Teams and see the agent you want test in the right tenant. And this is exactly what I'm experiencing right now. And that's why I have Teams open right here in the tenant I want. So this is my test tenant. And if you're struggling with this experience, what you should do is actually you should go to apps, manage your apps. And if you go to upload an app, you can select upload a custom app. And then next thing is just find your project, app package, build. And by selecting the app package of your project, you can get started testing your agent there right away. This really helps us if you're using multiple environments at the same time. As you can see, I tested this agent already, but we can actually do this from scratch together with you. So I have a bunch of questions we can use. For example, let's use a different question. Can I use Perk Plus Pay both rock climbing class and a virtual fitness program? And now I'm expecting my agent to go and connect with my AI Foundry agent and bring the answer in terms of the documentation we have already integrated there. This is pretty important because AI Foundry actually provides us multiple resource types, multiple actions, etc. You don't have to structure all the things in the code-based environment. You can just test everything and create everything in the Foundry. The only thing we do here is just bring that experience into Teams. And the following weeks, I think in 2 weeks, we will have another session showing you how you can actually bring this experience into Copilot Chat as an agent. So this is actually all I wanted to cover, and these are the responses we are supposed to get from the agent. If you're interested in learning more, if you want to try it yourself, you can just go to ak.ms/Copilot DevCamp, and the build a custom agent section has all the exercises available for you. You can get started by yourself. So today we completed starting EchoBot and also configuring your agent with Semantic Kernel. The following community call, not next week, but the 2nd of September, we will have a session to show you the last exercise to bring your agent into the Copilot Chat. So if you have any questions, I'll spend a couple more minutes in the chat, and I can now hand over back to Ayça.